Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. We will continue from where we left off. Ayat number 212 of Surah Al-Baqarah. The life of this world is alluring to those who reject faith, and they scoff at those who believe, but the righteous will be above them on the day of resurrection. For Allah bestows His abundance without measure on whom He will. Mankind was one single nation, and Allah sent messengers with glad tidings and warnings. And with them He sent the book in truth to judge between people in matters wherein they differed. But the people of the book, after the clear signs came to them, did not differ among themselves, except through selfish contumacy. Allah by His grace guided the believers to the truth concerning that wherein they differed. For Allah guides whom He will to a path that is straight. Or do you think that you shall enter the garden of bliss without such trials as came to those who passed before you? They encountered suffering and adversity, and were so shaken in spirit that even messenger and those of faith who were with him cried, when will come the help of Allah? Surely the help of Allah is always near. एक बड़ा गहरा सवाल होता है, क्या तुम ये समझते हो कि तुम्हें जो जन्नत है वो ऐसी ही मिल जाएगी बगैर ऐसे इम्तिहानों के जो उन पर आए जो तुमसे पहले थे? इतने सख्त इम्तिहान थे कि नबी जो बीच में थे, मैसेंजर्स थे, वो भी बोलते थे कि अल्लाह ताला की मदद कब आएगी, और यकीन रखो अल्लाह ताला की मदद करीब है. They ask you what they should spend in charity. Say, whatever you spend that is good is for parents and kindred and orphans and those in want and for wayfarers. And whatever you do that is good, Allah knows it well. Fighting is prescribed for you and you dislike it, but it is possible that you dislike a thing which is good for you and that you love a thing which is bad for you, but Allah knows and you know not. They ask you concerning fighting in the prohibited month. Say, fighting therein is a grave offense, but graver is it in the sight of Allah to prevent access to the path of Allah, to deny Him, to prevent access to the sacred mosque, and to drive out its members. Tumult and oppression are worse than slaughter, nor will they cease fighting until they turn you back from your faith if they can. And if any of you turn back from their faith and die in unbelief, their works will bear no fruit in this life, and in the hereafter they will be companions of fire and will abide there. Those who believed and those who suffered exile and fought and strove and struggled in the path of Allah, they have the hope of the mercy of Allah, and Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. They ask you concerning wine and gambling. Say in them is great sin, and some belief benefit for men, but sin is greater than the benefit. They ask you how much they are to spend. Say, what is beyond your needs? Thus does Allah make clear to you His signs in order that you may consider. ज़रूरत से जो भी ज़्यादा है सब खर्च कर दो. Their bearings on this life and the hereafter. They ask you concerning orphans. Say, the best thing to do is what is for their good. If you mix their affairs with yours, they are your brethren. But Allah knows the man who means mischief from the man who means good. And if Allah had wished, He could have put you into difficulties. He is indeed exalted in power wise. Do not marry unbelieving women, idolaters, until they believe. A slave woman who believes is better than unbelieving woman, even though she is alluring to you. Nor marry your girls to the unbelievers until they believe. A man slave who believes is better than an unbeliever, even though he appeals to you. Unbelievers do but beckon you to the fire, but Allah beckons by His grace to the garden of bliss and forgiveness, and make His signs clear to mankind that they may receive admonition. They ask you concerning women's courses. Say, they are a hurt and a pollution, so keep away from women in their courses and do not approach them until they are clean. But when they have purified themselves, you may approach them in any manner, time or place ordained by you by Allah. and by Allah. For Allah loves those who turn to Him constantly, and He loves those who keep themselves pure and clean. Your wives are as a tilth unto you, so approach your tilth when or how you will, but do some good act before for your souls beforehand, and fear Allah, and know that you are to meet Him in the hereafter, and give these good tidings to those who believe. And make not Allah's name an excuse in your oaths against doing good or acting rightly or making peace between persons. For Allah is one who hears and knows all things. ये एक बात है कि हम कभी ना उस समय बोलते हैं अब हम खुदा की कसम ये काम ही नहीं करेंगे, हालांकि वो काम भी अच्छा है, तो अल्लाह ताला बोलते हैं भाई मेरे नाम को आड़े न लाओ अच्छे काम करने के. Allah will not call you to account for the thoughtlessness in your oaths, but for the intention in your hearts, and He is oft forgiving, most merciful. For those who take an oath for abstention from their wives, awaiting for 4 months is ordained, and if they return, Allah is oft forgiving, most merciful. But if their intention is firm for divorce, Allah hears and knows all things. Divorced women shall wait concerning themselves for 3 monthly periods, nor it is lawful for them to hide what Allah has created in their wombs. If they have faith in Allah and the last day, and their husbands have the better right to take them back in that period if they wish for reconciliation. And women have rights similar to the rights against them, according to what is equitable, but men have a degree of advantage over them, and Allah is exalted in power wise. Divorce is only permissible twice. After that, the parties should either hold together on equitable terms or separate with kindness. देखिए, और separate with kindness. Divorce भी kindness के साथ. It is not lawful for you men to take back any of the gifts from your wives, except when both parties fear that they would be unable to keep the limits ordained by Allah. If you judges do indeed fear that they would be unable to keep the limits ordained by Allah, there is no blame on either of them if she gives something for her freedom. These are the limits ordained by Allah, so do not transgress them. If any do transgresses the limits ordained by Allah, such persons wrong themselves as well as others. यहाँ तक सूरह बकरा की आयत नंबर 229 हो गई है. हम आयत नंबर 223 से कंटिन्यू करेंगे इंशाल्लाह. थैंक यू.